In today's episode, we learn about applying AI into the manufacturer's front office. We also talk about speeding up market research using AI, and we're going to talk about using AI to assess the health of manufacturers and your company. Stay tuned. Welcome to the AI Lab Unfiltered podcast. We're going to talk about everything AI. And when I say everything, I mean everything AI.
No limits.
I am Drew Veach from BizStream. I am joined by Mr. Pete Tarrin from New Wave.
Howdy.
And we are powered by ThinkTank Thought Leadership. I want to throw that out there right away. People ask us a lot, how do you do your podcast? How do you get it started? How do you get it going? My answer is we don't. It's ThinkTank Thought Leadership that actually does it for us. They helped us with the naming of it. They helped us really just take our vision and bring it to life. They provide the studio, they provide the lights, the cameras, the editing, social posts. I mean, it's such a turnkey solution to really bring your podcast to life. I highly recommend them. You can find them online. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can ask us. You can message us. We'll tell you everything about it.
If you want to be cool, do a podcast. And if you're going to do a podcast, do it with ThinkTank Thought Leadership.
There you go. There's your tagline.
I'm just doing your marketing for you, ThinkTank. You're welcome.
Thanks, Pete. So today we're going to talk about something that is obviously near and dear to our hearts. Not just AI, but AI in manufacturing.
Yes, sir.
That we're going to talk about AI in manufacturing, and the voice of the manufacturer is how
I love it.
putting a moniker on there. We have Mr. Steven Lopez, Director of Manufacturing Solutions at The Right Place. Welcome, Steven.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And so tell me, like, how does The Right Place in general, I guess, help manufacturers with AI adoption? Like, where does that fit in? I know you guys do a lot of stuff. It's not just AI, but there's a lot of technology that goes into it. There's a lot of thought on the background, a lot of thought leadership that you guys are providing resources on. How does that, what do you do for them?
Yeah.
Am I over-explaining that?
No, it's really complex, actually. To try to simplify it, The Right Place focuses on 3 pillars: people, place, prosperity. The economic development side of all of this is to help all businesses with competitiveness, and we really want them to stay where they are. We don't want to lose any businesses. So my job is to help manufacturers with that competitiveness and growth potential. And we do that with workforce development, technology adoption, operational excellence, safety, quality, et cetera.
So, and we all know time is money, money is time. No better mantra for manufacturers because it is so precise. It's so getting products out the door, getting it out the door in an effective, efficient way without terrible quality. I mean, obviously you want to have high quality. How do you see a lot of that technology nowadays, especially when people have those legacy systems where they're using old machines, old systems, and now AI comes into play? How do you see that evolving, and where can they evolve that?
Yeah, I think the answer to that depends on the industry we're looking at. Quality is defined by what the customer is going to pay for, right?
It's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, you buy a car, there are different models of the same car. Like, you want the premium package, you get the premium experience, so you pay for that. It's the same with quality in manufacturing. So we do have a fair amount of like contract manufacturers that haven't evolved their systems or their technology because they just didn't need to. But we're starting to see them lose business because companies are adopting technologies and they're able to get product out faster with high quality, with lower cost. So my job is to help companies understand where they fit in the picture in terms of competitiveness, where they really are, not where they think they are. And then I help them with a roadmap to identify technologies that are going to make an impact almost immediately. My job is to help them optimize performance and maximize the potential of their environments.
So that's interesting. You say it's that not where they think they are, it's where they actually are in that landscape. Because you guys have, I'm guessing, a lot of data to back that up to say, here's where you fit in that strata.
We do have a lot of data. I try to humanize my approach, though. Like, I don't want to be so analytical. Look, my job is to tell people that their baby's ugly.
Yeah.
And it isn't easy. It isn't easy. So I ask a series of questions. I do a needs assessment. I provide a gap analysis so they could kind of see where their processes are not aligned with technologies that they currently have. And I give them some suggestions, like, have you ever considered this or that, before we go into like a salesy kind of, you should buy this robot, thing. So
nice.
Yeah.
You and I have talked before about, how you're helping these businesses. And I just want to say, we are so fortunate to have the right place here in West Michigan. You guys are so active in the community, in helping businesses and genuinely wanting businesses to succeed. I've been so impressed ever since I've learned about the right place and getting to get to know you better and other members of the team, just all great people. And we're so fortunate. So thank you for what you do and really appreciate that. But when you and I talked earlier, you talked about there's ways that you're helping these businesses. It can be, through leadership training. It could be Six Sigma, training and getting funds and helping people get that in place. If I were to look at how you're helping these businesses as a pie chart, because I always think of everything as a pie chart. I don't know why. Like, how big of the pie is technology that you're helping with? And then out of that slice of the pie, because we're here to talk about AI, obviously, out of the technology pie, how much of that is AI that at least is a part of the conversation with these companies, manufacturers?
Solutions, I would say it's pretty small. There aren't a lot of companies that, I think it comes down to like really understanding. It's a knowledge, right? It's a fear of change. Like, this is how we've always done it. Why do I need to change to do it differently? Why do I have to buy this $300,000 robot? The education side, I think, is truly important. And while I'm having a lot of conversations throughout the region, we aren't seeing a lot of technology adoption. My number one recommendation out of Industry 4.0 assessments is system integration. It's either companies are using legacy systems, they're not using an ERP, they have multiple manual platforms like check sheets and Excel, and they're doing a whole lot. It takes them days to do a quote, to get a quote together, to bid for a job. And so this is where I talk to manufacturers about adopting AI at the front end. It's not just about the machinery. I mean, that stuff's important. But if you think about it from like a business architect perspective, the thought is to align your processes with technology. But if your process just really isn't that great,
right,
maybe we could adopt technology to help with the process, and then everything else falls in line.
Yeah, I want to park here for just a little bit, because you and I were at this MEMA Advanced Technology Council event yesterday, and the table that I was sitting at, there was a gentleman there, and we were talking about AI, because that's all I talk about. And he was focused on the machinery and what AI could do from a machinery standpoint. Yes, there's different sensors you can put on things, and we talked a little bit about preventative maintenance and being able to predict when a machine is going to be at a state where it can't produce, at the quality that it needs to, and being proactive there. Nobody talked about what you just said, and I think that's way more powerful. Not that the machines aren't important, but that front end. So can we dig into that a little bit more? Like, when I hear you say that it could take days to put a quote together for something, this is like, hurts my heart. Like, it should never take that long to put a quote together. And I think the three of us sitting here, like, what a ripe opportunity for AI to be able to come in, and it can look at that data and pull that data together, and you could give it a template and say, this is what I want my quote to look like, and pull this data in together and populate this template, and we can do this a lot faster. Like, that's instantly where my mind goes. So can you talk more about the conversations around that part of where these manufacturers need help?
Yeah. Speed is key. Communication is important. How we communicate with our technology is incredibly important, right? You could prompt something pretty generically. You could use ChatGPT like a calculator if you wanted to, but I mean, what good is that?
Right.
Yeah.
So when I think about these things from a whole value stream perspective, I think about the companies that are looking to maximize the potential of increasing the revenue with sales and marketing initiatives without focusing on optimizing performance. Like, that's bang for buck. If you generate business, but you're running overtime and your scrap and rework is high, we probably need to look at some of these easily overlooked processes, and it usually starts at the front end.
Yep.
I've seen manufacturers, and I spent some time as a plant manager too, and I'm guilty of this. I don't like to be a hypocrite, so I dig in the trench. You know, if an order is received and 7 people have to touch it to enter like data, the same data in different platforms, oh my goodness, that's waste. I'm a crazy lazy guy. I don't want to do things twice.
Right.
I don't want to do things the wrong way. I want to do it once. I want to do it like efficiently. This is areas where if you have an ERP system, if you have a POS, or somebody is able to place orders through your website, or you're that engineering firm that has to put together a quote to bid for a job, AI can help dig into your data, pull information from past jobs, anything similar, and also validate. So you're increasing your speed and you're increasing your ability to be accurate. Mm-hmm. And I think of AI as like a really intelligent toddler that just had a ton of sugar. You need to monitor this thing, right? Like, you can't just let it loose. Put a helmet on it too, probably. I think overall, like, if we start from the front end, you already have machinery, you already have some capability. Maybe it's not the best, but it works, right? Investing in areas that's not working, I think that's where we're starting to see a shift.
What are you seeing? Like, what are you seeing? Because you have a vast geographic area that you're covering. I forget how many counties. 13. So you've got a big swath of the state here that you're responsible for. So you're talking obviously to probably hundreds of manufacturers. And so what kind of adoption are you seeing? Are you starting to see some people like go towards the light, or if they're not, I'd like to talk about maybe what's holding them back.
Oh, that's a tough one. Because our counties are so different. Like, if I'm in the northern counties, or like Allegan and Barrie, those conversations are not the same as Kent County or Ottawa. You know, there's a little bit more of a desire to evolve with technology, and they're staying on the forefront of these conversations. They're going to events like we were at yesterday. So they're staying in the mix. And then we have to talk about industry, right? There's discrete manufacturing, and then there's a contract manufacturing. And what's important to those manufacturers are different. But all in all, if we're going to be generic about it, I'm seeing a lot of interest in learning more about AI.
Okay.
Like, I think I'm so glad we've moved on from the conversation of what is AI. And,
right.
And I'm like, you have a cell phone.
Yes. You're already using it.
You use Google Maps to get here. It's a digital twin.
Yep.
So moving further away from that to like, how can I use this? Like, how do I see myself in this picture? And there's some fear there. I feel like a lot of people are talking about AI from like a very ominous perspective. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't adopt, like, you're gonna fall behind, and you're, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
We say it. Guilty.
Yeah, we say it all the time.
I mean, the people that are using it are like enhancing their ability to do anything. I used to spend like six hours on research for Industry 4.0 assessments, before the assessment and after the assessment. I would dig into LinkedIn. I'm looking online. They're trying to get any idea about this manufacturer. What do they do? How do they do it? What machinery am I probably going to see? And like, what would be something that is important? Now, like, just I built a persona in ChatGPT. And so I just use that, and I cut my time down to like, 20, 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm encouraging manufacturers to think a little bit more like this. Like, not like, how do I fit AI into the picture that we already have, but how do we, and this goes against my lean principles, In Lean, we say we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to make it spin faster.
Yep.
But I think with AI, we could reinvent the wheel. And those are the kind of conversations I'm having with folks. After like, we explore where they are, what their goals are, what their processes are, and how they can evolve overall.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because I'm a huge proponent of, and I've mentioned it multiple times on this show, that don't do AI for the sake of AI. Let's take it a step back. Like you said, what's your process? What's your goals in the beginning? That could or could not include AI as a solution, but what are you trying to get at in the beginning? What's the overall goal? How good is your process right now? Because, and we just said it on the last recording, that if it's garbage going in, I can build you the best workflow you want. But if it's garbage data and process going in there, it's going to be garbage coming out. Yeah. It's just going to be faster garbage at the other end. Mm-hmm. So to take it back and say, let's focus on this first. Let's understand what those goals are. Let's understand what those business use cases are. Then let's analyze how we can solve that, and then size up a tool set that can do that with. And again, it could be AI, could be a simple coded program. Mm-hmm. And then let's measure and implement and measure the effectiveness of it. But you're right. It's they're moving so fast. They have to move so fast that they can't afford that downtime to implement anything that's not going to work. So I'm guessing that's part of that fear, where it's things are working well right now. Why would I disrupt that?
Yeah, blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Most small and medium-sized manufacturers, the leadership team, they're wearing multiple hats. Mm-hmm. Where you have like the president is also doing IT and HR.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So that's where I think change management is important. Being able to step away and look at the organization from a different perspective. It's so hard, and you're inundated. You're just busy. I hear a lot of people say that they're problem solvers, but they're solving the same problem every day. That's not a problem solver. Like, you're a firefighter. You're really good at putting out fires, the same fire. It's familiar. You walk in, you're ready to put out that fire. Like, what's going to go wrong now?
Yep,
We're not really looking at solving problems. And I don't think of AI as a solution. I think of AI as like a highly enhanced collaborative tool.
Absolutely. And it's underappreciated for that part of it. The ability, I read somewhere recently where one of the largest issues is in a business is communication, and why org charts are set up the way that they are is to allow for information to come from the top down, and it has to get dispersed through these different channels. Well, if you've got this smart entity that's tied into the data of your business and those communication flows, you can really expedite that communication. I think we talked in the last episode about AI creating jobs. I do think that one job that it's in danger is mine, the director level roles, because the director is that orchestrator of information and hearing what's happening, bringing that to senior leadership. Like, I don't think there's going to be a role for me when AI is implemented the right way. And you start to flatten out these org charts because you don't need to pay people to go check and see what's going on there. The AI will go check and see what's going on and bring that data to you. So my directors out there, move into the domain realm, like become a domain expert in something, because those are going to be needed for a long time. Like, people are going to have to fact check what AI is doing. And it will create more jobs than it will take away, is my belief. But that's an area where it's going to change some things. It's going to challenge the norm for sure.
Yeah, as a director, I feel that.
Yeah,
I was really inspired yesterday. I think in terms of frameworks, analytical. So this helps like declutter my brain. I think like this, based on what you just said. Expectation establishes purpose. Purpose drives behavior, but it takes effective communication to be able to get there. So we're having these conversations in our heads about AI is going to change the game. My job as I know it is not going to be the same in a year from now.
Right.
What's the expectation? Evolve, right? It doesn't have to be like ominous, like if you don't, oh my goodness, you're going to be working at Walmart. But it should be exciting. Like we're not like sitting in horse carriages anymore, right? We're driving cars, flying planes. Like change is not new. It's just, I think what people fear, losing what they feel is control because they're familiar with what they have done for a period of time. But changes every day. You wake up a little different every day. I think you should.
You should. Well, you should, especially
it makes
today.
It exciting, that's for sure. Yeah. I mean, we're on the same page that this is incredible. Yeah. This might replace my job. I don't even care. I'll figure something out. It'll evolve, like you said. It'll evolve into something else. Yeah. And that's what the whole point of this change is. That it's gonna move you to something else.
I think it's gonna lead people to be able to do more what they want to do and what they're good at. Our previous guest here, Shannon, was built for data analytics. Like she doesn't want to use AI to do her analytics because she loves doing it so much. And I was like so jealous and happy for her at the same time because she just really loves the kind of work that she does. And she uses AI to supplement and augment areas that she doesn't want to do. And that to me is the perfect way to approach it. So I'm excited for that for everyone, that you can start to gravitate towards the things that you, in the way that you're wired, are really good at. Let AI do the monotonous bullshit, that you don't want to do. And I think that's a great way to move forward with that.
Yeah, I took technical writing in college, and I have to write these like assessment reports. Usually I deliver to a mixed group of people, different professions. So how do you tell a compelling story of an assessment, a gap analysis?
Yeah.
How do you like massage in, like your baby is ugly and I'm gonna tell you how to get it better? So ChatGPT helps me with that. I no longer spend like hours rewriting, like, how do I put emotional words and, my cold, clear, concise messaging. Like this, what it helps me with is burnout. Because I'm not spending time doing the things that I don't really want to do, that not natural to me. It doesn't excite me. I'm not like relying on ChatGPT to do my job. It's helping me do my job. Mm-hmm. And when I'm picking up on something, like I'm inspired by you guys and what you're saying right now, but I think we should start talking about what AI is doing for us today, not what it will be. Like we're using terms as if it's in the future. It will change. It's changed. Look at you guys today with this podcast.
Right, yeah,
we're here today because of AI.
Yeah,
yeah. And you guys are freed up to do more creative things that really drive your passion, and that's exciting.
I think so.
Yeah. I think so too.
If you had a blank check and you're still in your role at the right place, so you can't take this blank check and go to Hawaii for you
I was thinking the Philippines, but yeah.
You gotta stay in your role. The mission is still the same.
I'm not liking this.
Yeah. Just bear with me. So you had unlimited resources, blank check. What would you do for manufacturing? And please slant it more towards technology and the AI side to make it relevant to what we're doing. So I'm sure there's all kinds of other things that could be done. But what would you do? What do you think manufacturers need? And I know that there's this gradient of non-adopters to curious and beyond. But what would you do for your your constituents in the manufacturing world?
Damn it. I think I would put together the most dynamic team and build an incredible tool that we can take to manufacturers at no cost, assess them, find the areas of opportunity, understand where their mission is and how far away they have drifted from it, and help them adopt technology, encourage them to adopt technology. Be that dynamic team that is not focused on sales, but more focused on solutions. The thing about the Right Place and Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center, as the team I represent, our mission, as I said earlier, is to help companies with competitiveness and growth. And this sounds canned and kind of corny. I always feel like a politician when I say this, but the more success that those companies, all businesses have, the more success that our communities see. Most manufacturers are employing people that live in those communities. And they're taking their paychecks and they're spending them in those communities. Mm-hmm. If we could continue that, I guarantee we see a decrease in crime, poverty, and an overall like level of happiness. More people are taking vacations. More people are buying the things that they want. Their kids are fed. You know, those are really important things. As somebody that grew up in the inner city of Chicago, and now I'm enjoying life here in West Michigan. It's beautiful. I love it here. I'm able to see the differences when I travel through the 13 counties. I'm able to see. When I first started, Pete, I went up to Newaygo with my county partner, Julie. She drove me around, and I saw manufacturing facilities that closed down years ago, and those towns are like, they haven't been touched. People moved. How many lives were affected because a facility closed? If we can be part of that solution, if we could stop facilities from closing and moving out, that's a feel good for me.
Get goosebumps talking about this. This is powerful. It can come across as corny because you do hear politicians say that shit all the time, and you don't know if they really mean it. You mean it, and if you didn't, I wouldn't have got goosebumps from you talking about it. So what's stopping you? Like how do we do that? I want to help. How do we make that happen?
Blank check. Let me go to the Philippines for a little bit. We're gonna chat soon with Chad.
Yeah,
and I think we just pick up steam from there. Like, how can we continue to collaborate in a way that we haven't? We've done some collaboration. You know, I'm in a networking group that Chad set me up in, and somebody from New Wave is there, and Prescott. You know, it's a lead generating network, so we help each other with business development. That's cool. That's a level. I want to take things to the next level.
Yeah. So you would need, and just anybody listening that would contribute to this. So because you're doing assessments now, and the research, as you stated earlier, was 6 hours per, and you've got that down to under an hour. But that's not all that you're trying to do, but it's similar. Like you're talking about an assessment tool, and I love the way you said it. When you built this business, you had a place that you wanted to go, and you were going down the road here, and you ended up taking an exit ramp, at McDonald's for some reason, and you're off track, and Google Maps is telling you you're behind schedule and all that. And how do we get back to, that getting back towards your destination? Do you think that is a tool, like an online tool that people can fill out, or what does that look like?
I think there's a lot of power in self-assessments, but remember what I said. Like when you're in it every day, you don't know what you know.
Yeah.
Right. Like assessments are designed to pull that out of you. I steer away from my assessment tool as it is today. Quite often, I take more of a casual conversational approach. I get a lot of information, and sometimes I'm asking those hard questions where somebody that's been in the facility for 50 years is like, oh, I've never thought about that. Asking thought-provoking questions. That's where I think assessments can be powerful.
So what if I'm just dreaming here, this is not at all where I thought this conversation was going to go this morning. What if we were able to create a digital avatar that had this persona, and you're familiar with that because you built one for your assessment, and it is a persona of a knowledgeable manufacturing expert who is trained to ask the tough questions. And I think, I'm just thinking about this off the top of my head, I would think people would be more apt and be more open and honest with a digital avatar than they would with Steven Lopez, because I'm not going to feel like I'm being judged by this AI avatar, whereas I may feel like I'm being judged by you, and your job is to tell me my baby's ugly. But I think people would be more open with a digital avatar, and you might get better data out of that.
I don't know. And the only reason why I say that is because you and I are early adopters and big adopters of AI. So we trust it a hell of a lot more than most people. I'm not trying to put a wrench in, but I'm just saying.
No, you're not. No, I think this is a good.
I guess I'm challenging that a little bit because having, and like he was saying, that there's a lot of people that just that want to do something with the technology, want to implement something, but they don't know where to begin. They don't know what to do. And they're a little hesitant about that. And there's some fears around that. And a lot of it is, I don't understand the technology. So now you're going to interface with this digital avatar and you're going to tell it a lot more than the average person.
Yeah.
You and I would, no doubt.
I
mean,
so I think it comes down to defining what you mean by trusting the technology. If it's a lifelike digital avatar, which we know people that can build those and are building and selling that already. They've been guests on the podcast. Shout out to Dan Hungerford, Everfriends.ai, Craig Tucker with the humans and what he's doing at Vern.
We've actually got an internal training one. Same thing, Mark.
Oh, really?
It's a Mark avatar, and you can actually interface with it and talk with it.
No shit.
It's for
I want to see that.
training. It's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to check that out. So, it's very lifelike. It's hyper intelligent. And I'm getting hung up on the word trust that you used. Why wouldn't I, quote unquote, trust talking to the avatar? Are you saying that they're fearful that conversation is going to get leaked onto the internet and somebody can find out what I said about my business, or they're just not? There's just no comfort level talking to a digital avatar because of like with this fucking Max Headroom thing that I'm talking to right now. Is that?
I'd say it's both. I think it's both of those where. I'm not going to tell you, manufacturers have the secret sauce more than most people. You talk to different associations, they're not going to compete with each other. You talk with hospital systems, there's a little bit of overlap, but they're not necessarily competing to get, I want you as a patient versus, there's a lot of logistics around it before you can become a patient. Manufacturers, and correct me if I'm wrong, but manufacturers we have a secret sauce recipe for what we do, and I can't expose it. I can't go on and say, well, I don't know anything about this and how to do it. I don't think it's going to be as forthcoming as what you think to do that. It's almost like business therapy. And that's how I would equate a lot of what you're doing is, I got to tell you your baby's ugly, and I'm going to do it in very efficient terms. And I'm going to adjust to your personality and your persona so you understand it and you receive that message. It's like working with a therapist.
I think it's a valid point. I guess I'm just trying to. Your resources are limited, right? Mm. So I'm trying to figure out like how do we amplify you? How do we duplicate you so that you can be in 13 counties at once talking to these businesses.
I like the idea though. Yeah. I really, obviously I'd love the idea, but me, if I was a manufacturer, I'd probably unload on that thing.
For you personally.
But
you're just thinking Joe Public might not want to. Okay. And I get that.
I think you'd have to do some user testing after you build it. You'd have to do a lot, or before you build it, you'd have to do a lot of user testing. You'd have to really hit up because you're going to have different demographics and different personas of each manufacturer, leadership manufacturer, who's going to be interfacing with us, who's going to be comfortable with it, what are their demographics? Are they older? Are they younger? Are they more adoptive of AI and technologies? Are they more resistant to it? You're going to have to segment that out and do some user testing for that. That's how I would approach it if I was building it.
I jump to the output has to be compelling. So if it's this, you get this free assessment, because I agree, like I wouldn't charge people to this is something that the right place would provide. It'd be, the Steven Lopez digital avatar. You're going to talk to Steven, and maybe that's one way to overcome that is they're already familiar with Steven, right? So they're just talking with a digital version of him, but the output has to be really compelling. So if I get this free report and it's the best insight into my business I've ever had, and people start to, socialize that, I think you can get adoption that way. So what would what would be an outcome that people would be like, holy shit, I'm going to definitely talk to this avatar?
Yeah, I have commitment issues. I like options, right? So I do like, I think that's telling. I like the idea of being with a client for everything that you pointed out, and conducting this assessment. I like to give options. I love where your head is with this avatar. There is a fair amount of fear when I'm there. Like I'm assessing your company, right? You know where the bones are hidden, and I'm gonna walk through the facility. I'm gonna find those bones because that's what I've been trained to do for so long. There is that fear, and there's some hiding, some deflection, and things like that. Everybody has an ego. I like the idea of presenting options here. I wasn't really gonna go public with this yet. I'm beta testing at this point. I've been building an assessment tool.
Okay.
Nice.
Outside of the MEDC, outside of MMTC's headquarters in Plymouth. The Right Place has no involvement with this. This is just my time because it's fun.
Yeah.
And I love if this then that functions. So my tool as it's developing is within this logic. So we talk about variety in manufacturing. Manufacturers have NAICS codes that identify.
Yep.
Yeah, they identify the primary. So companies can have multiple NAICS codes. That's diverse. One static survey-ish type of assessment isn't going to provide a ton of feedback. It's generic. And why can't an assessment tool be dynamic? Why can't we go into more of if you say, I don't know, maybe the question is what's your strategy and plan for technology adoption? And if you say something very specific, the next question in line is going to feed off of that to really, really paint the picture based off your NAICS codes, based off of your target market, based off of your size, etc. I think that's where we can go, and more of a dynamic instead of either it's this or it's that.
Yeah, less of a linear.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 100 questions. It's you got to 5, and then based on that answer, now we're going off on this track,
Choose your own adventure.
which is what people can do better. That's what you do when you're meeting with them. Oh, you're going to answer it this way. Well, then I have these set of questions now until we divert to a different path.
Right.
And that paints that persona and that picture of them.
Absolutely. You take a job shop, like a machine shop, they buy materials based on the order versus a discrete manufacturer who buys materials and stores it.
Mm-hmm.
Like some questions that are from a static assessment, they're not going to pertain to one or the other. Like you just can't develop a tool that's going to generate a gap analysis for every industry in a static way.
Sorry to poo-poo your idea there, Pete.
No, it's not. I'm right. You're wrong. I know.
You're such a good American.
Like and subscribe. Leave a comment.
No, I think it does come down to options. And so I think what I really heard from you, and then Steven said a lot better than you, is that
probably
people do want options. Not everyone's going to be familiar or comfortable talking to a digital avatar, and not everyone's going to be familiar with having Steven taking a fine-tooth comb through their floor.
Well, right? And that's what I was saying. You segment your audience. You're going to have people that are going to go, yeah, I'll take the digital option.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's a primer before. Here's the pre-assessment. So you have a better understanding of them before you even interface with them. Then it goes into the process, the second step of, and then I'm going to reach out and I'm going to meet with you personally, and we can explore that even more.
Yeah,
maybe that's the way to go. Or some of them, no, I just want to meet with you straight up.
Yep.
You're going to get, I think, a roundabout, at least at this point, until technology really starts taking over.
Mm-hmm.
Are you using AI to build your tool?
Yes.
How are you doing it?
Persona. Started in ChatGPT, just talking with it because of the assessment persona. ChatGPT knows everything about me. So it knows me. It knows my style. It knows the work that I've done in the past. I uploaded the tool that I used that was given to me to use.
Yeah.
And I told it everything I hated about the tool and where I wanted to go. And then I gave it creative freedom. I said, you have one rule. be accurate. And that was it. Be creative. And so I have a lot of personas in ChatGPT. And one of them is like, you are my professor. You are my career coach. You are this. You are that. And talk to me this way. Then I took some information from there and went into Gemini. And I'm working on developing an app that can help me on site. Instead of using paper or my laptop, which, you know, it kind of builds a wall between people. It feels cold.
Right. Yep.
If I can develop an app and record the conversation and transcribe immediately, then maybe the app can start to develop the next questions or the report on site, or we just go through, like, instead of me going home, developing the report and then delivering it days later, we're still in it. And I walk away, you have value, I have value, and we just walk away with that.
Man.
Nice.
I would just love to sit here and riff on these ideas, because this is so fun. It's like what a great use of AI.
It's perfect.
So for anyone listening, like I said this before too, I think the biggest limitation with people using AI is imagination. And
Sound like someone from like Reading Rainbow.
it is. It's very Reading Rainbow-ish. But that's what's holding a lot of people back. And that's why I love doing what we're doing now and sharing these examples of what people are doing. Is like, oh, I never even thought about using it for that.
Exactly.
And so that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
And especially using the voice feature, I guess, of where you can just have that conversation, just like we do with online meetings now. Nobody's jotting down notes as much as they are. It's just getting recorded, so I can keep that conversation going, keep that flow going. And then, now you've got a huge amount of data that you can then put into those personas and say, what's that next step look like based on all these different personas, based on how this could break down into different categories. What's my next step to approach them with? And then here it is. That's a great use. Incredibly fast use and efficient use too.
Yeah, you talked about speed earlier. I mean, the idea that you could walk the floor in the morning and deliver the report in the afternoon, or sit down and have lunch, and by the time you're done eating, let's now dive into everything that I found, and it's still fresh for everyone at that point. It's not weeks later or whatever, and they've already moved on. They're not even thinking about assessments anymore because they got shit to sell. And so you're just dedicating a day and just knocking it all out. I think that'd be awesome.
You can connect that to national statistics too, somewhere where it ties into that, to where, okay, now based off of how much you output or your technology readiness assessment, here's where you fall percentage-wise comparative to others that make the same type of product or in the same size nationally. We can pull that data in and analyze it, kind of cross-reference and say, you're in the 50 percentile comparative to everybody else that's in the 80 percentile or lower or something nationally.
I'm still in that.
Yeah.
Mental note, benchmarking.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because that's what people want to know. Was that good or bad? You tell me I'm at 50% or I'm at 40%. Where's everybody else? So I can kind of compare.
Yeah. And I think too, like, you guys are inspiring me. The after action conversation that I typically have is more of like, I'm telling you where you are, where you think you are versus where you actually are.
Yeah.
And I think if we can do this all on site the same day with the same energy, we're not really just, I could highlight where you are, but let's go back out and let's look at where you can be with those areas of opportunities for growth, for impact. I think that there's a lot of power there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot of momentum right there that you want to capture.
Yeah. And I'm always worried about feeling like a salesperson or coming across as a salesperson. I'm way too introverted for that. Like, I accept no for an answer. Half the time I want you to say no because I just want to get out of there. But when I'm talking, when I'm
I don't get it at all.
Drew, that does not compute.
I am so extroverted and sales guy. I love it.
I kind of envy that. But when I think I heard somebody say domain confidence or context confidence or something like that. When I'm having these types of conversations, when I'm working with manufacturers about solutions, I'm just like, I'm getting the goosebumps like you were. I'm excited. And we're talking about solutions. We're not talking about a sale. And I think tools like AI can help us with that. I love the business development approach to doing business. Mm-hmm. And I hear like salespeople, I had to take sales classes, and I went to business school. I understand like the old school, if AI is going to take anyone's job, I hope it's this. The old school way of selling is to persuade.
Yep.
I'm too lazy. I'm not going to try to persuade you. You said no, I'm done.
Yep.
Right. But if we move into more of like an optimized way of highlighting areas for improvement and solutions, actual solutions, we're not selling.
Right.
It's a solution. You either want it or you don't. You just told me you wanted it. And I think that can maybe help with developing actual relationships, not transactional, but like real deep relationships, and continue to work with manufacturers over time, as opposed to like, here, just pay for this training or buy this robot.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the features and benefits, and here's why you should buy it.
Yeah.
Buy this vacuum or whatever it is. I think a lot of that comes down to, if you're going after, tell me about your business, tell me about your goals, tell me about where you want to be first. And that's always been my approach, is I want to know about you first. I don't even know what to sell you at this point, because I have no clue about you until I know all of that info. And I see the stuff online. I see your website. I see what's in the news about you. I want to hear it from you as a leader of this company. What are you trying to achieve? What's your 1 year vision? What's your 3 year? What's your 5 year? If I can match those and give you a solution to meet those goals, then I'm doing my job. And a lot of times that includes something that I do. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's, you don't need us. You need him that does X, Y, Z. I can put you in touch with him.
Yep.
That to me is a solution first approach. And that's what I've always prided myself on. And I think that's exactly what you're doing. So it's not the used car sales guy coming up going, hey, how can I get you in this car? It's not the features and benefits bullshit that you hear. It's the, let's start with your goals and then let's figure out a solution for that. So you can get to point C, which is, meeting those goals and hitting that number.
Yeah. We take pride in being connectors and conduits.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a great approach.
It is. And I love the idea of, once you kind of broke through the shell and you're like, hey, there's some value here, and you start to get a little bit of momentum, and then you have this long-term relationship where you've proven this value that you've provided over time. And then you're really locked in at that point. And then they know you're not there to just bullshit them and get them into something because you got a number you got to hit. You're
exactly.
Like, no, this is a proven solution. I have a good track record with you because we've done good stuff in the past. And then now it's not selling anymore. It's just helping. And that's what you guys do. And that's the core of what you're doing. So yeah, I love where that could go, will go. It will go there.
So we got to wrap this up. I know it's like now we're getting into the nuts and bolts, and I love that part. But Steven, I appreciate you being on here, man. This has been a really cool conversation. We're definitely going to follow up with you and have you on again, especially as this evolves, as more manufacturers come online. I shouldn't say online. That's an old school term.
Come into the circle.
Yeah. See the light with AI. Love to hear more about how that's evolving and how that's working. Tell our viewers where they can find you.
Sure. I have a LinkedIn profile. You can find me on the Right Places website. All my information is public as a quasi-government employee. Or you can find me at a local bar, probably.
That's where the real conversations begin.
That's our first deep conversation. Yeah. And then it took a wild turn, but it was fun.
Yeah. It was fun, though.
Awesome.
We'll do it again.
Well, thanks for being on, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate being a guest. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. If you like today's episode, hit like and subscribe and leave us a comment. Tell us what you're doing with AI in your business. Thanks, everybody.